Auctions are in our blood. It's how we were raised. I mean, literally from children. I started auctioning when I was 13. The youngest licensed auctioneer in Iowa, Mom likes to quote.
He does such a wonderful job. He's one of the best. His father was that way also.
It's been a family business forever. Dad started it way back when.
We started in the auction business in 1967. I remember Dad came home one day and he was a teacher and a farmer, and he said, I think I'm going to be an auctioneer. And I'm thinking, what?
We've been doing this for a really long time, and we take a lot of pride in the fact that we've started as a family and we'll probably end as a family.
For somebody that was never going to have any children, he was the best father. And he loves his kids.
I don't think that you can put anybody, especially my dad, in a box and say, you know, this is who he is and is. When you look back through his history, and he was a paramedic, a firefighter, a police officer.
Mom has watched the auction business grow for the 50+ years that it's been around. I mean, you know, we've taken it to new levels.
I'm proud of him.
We do this every Thursday, whether it's raining, snowing, if there's a tornado outside. I'm pretty sure Rick will want to have a damn auction.
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Have you been playing tennis?
No, this is just my Bryant Auction uniform.
Wow.
We were coming over here to check out guns. I just got my conceal and carry permit. Now I just have to find the right gun. After taking the CCW, I am more comfortable with handling the gun
because
and
it's
the
the
nomenclature.
knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Di's a unique individual. She is a gun expert, and she's all lady. I mean, Angie can relate to her probably on a level she can't with me. They can actually kind of confer on a female basis, which I'm not attuned to.
Typically, women statistically are a better shot than men because they don't have all this in the way. We use this.
You got to be able to be tactical, and Diane is the type of individual. She's very tactical because she's been in the industry for 20 some odd years.
For starters, revolver, which
Okay.
you've already been there, done
Yeah.
that. So now that you're at that level, I think you can move to a semi-automatic.
Okay.
You have to guarantee that you're going to practice. I want it to be like getting in the car, driving. You
Yeah.
have no thought process there. It happens. You
Exactly.
do it. You don't even think about it.
Okay.
I think we're ready for a 27, you know, Glock 2740 cal.
This is a Generation 4. This shows you it's not loaded.
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute.
See that? That's the
Oh,
issue.
shoot.
That's the issue that a lot of women have.
Yeah. If my life depends on it, I want it to be the right gun.
Try this one, Ange, please. Pull back.
Oh,
That's it.
That's a lot easier.
I ran out chasing some critter,
Yeah, I think it was a possum
and I was shooting
again.
some. And she ran in the house and got her gun and came out with one.
Well, I
You know,
thought in case he misses them, I could probably shoot him.
whatever the reason was, I was okay.
You
with
could
that.
shoot him and it could be like, oh, it was an accident.
Oop, I thought I was going after the possum.
I'm sorry, officer. 7 times?
Yeah.
Do you want to go out to the range and try a 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I have a toy I want you to try.
Ooh. Doesn't vibrate, does it? Oh my God. I don't think my skirt here would even cover that up, would it?
Your skirt barely covers your hoo-ha.
Ooh-ah.
My hoo-ha.
This is a bear gun. You might notice the spot right above the white dot. It's surprisingly a smooth gun to shoot because it's so heavy. It's so long and heavy. Ange, you want to shoot it?
Just say no.
No.
He wants to know if you want to shoot it.
Yeah, I want to try it.
Shoot it.
Yeah, I want to try it.
You go, girlfriend.
What we're going to do at Bryant Auction is we're going to help thousands of people own guns that deserve the guns, know how to use them, and know how to store them.
The guns are here. Everything is just coming together. Saturday is our ball game, and the serious guys are here to play varsity level ball.
Those are his babies, each and every one, and he can tell you a story about every one of those guns
the best way to protect our rights is to exercise our rights.
I come here because it is so much more than just an auction for me. The food's great, and it's almost like dinner and a show.
You know, Rick's always treated us very fairly and given us good consignment prices.
I have dealt with the auctions for several years. This is the best one I've ever dealt with.
I think people definitely enjoy coming just to, hang out and have a good time.
Thursday nights, I'd rather be here than anywhere. And please don't tell my girlfriend that.
He wants to know if you want to shoot it.
Yeah, I want to try it.
Shoot it.
Yeah, I want to try it.
You go, girlfriend.
Holy cow, that does have a kick.
Good
But
job, though.
actually not as bad as what you thought.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
You did really well.
Good, thank
and
you.
it's going to take some time for
Yeah.
you to figure out your stance,
Yeah.
figure out your breathing.
Yeah.
And the first one you were lunging,
Yeah, I felt myself leaning back a little bit more.
you were
on that.
you were thinking the recoil was going to be worse than it was.
Yeah.
That's why practice is so important. The more you practice, the more you get used to your gun.
You have to be comfortable with your gun or it can be a real problem.
A man smart enough to collect guns all of his life, when you get to the end of the road and you see, the other side and you start to say, oh shoot, now I've got to have Martha sell my guns. And Martha doesn't know the barrel from the butt. Well, what do I do? Call Rick.
Morning.
Good morning.
Rick Bryant. You got some guns to sell?
I've got a 2-page document here with 82 items listed on it, so I guess I have to consider myself a collector.
Yeah, there's a pretty nice gun there in a leather case if you wish.
Well, when I retired, my clients were so happy to see me go that they gave me this custom-made shotgun. That is museum quality. That's where it belongs.
Amazing engraving here. One of a kind, very unique. Let's drive up the price. Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for.
You bet. You bet.
This is his other child, Sometimes we think it was his favorite child, but
In my business, you get to meet a lot of people. Rarely do you get to meet people of Bob Hatfield's caliber.
his first book actually was not the Vest Pocket Pistol book. It was his Papa's Parody, which he wrote for our children, which was a lot of literary license, but his first hardbound book was for the kids. He joined the National Guard. He, did all of those things because he believed in family and country first. And that's what he taught us. And we are pretty much a service organization as a family, We were raised, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Or you were in big trouble in our house. But that's how we raise our children. That's how Dad has affected us. All of this is his life.
I'm going to ask you a straight up question, okay? We both want to live forever. But if something were to happen to one of us, what would you like me to do with the money?
What I like is Rick's former law enforcement, so he knows what law enforcement goes through, so he puts a lot out for us.
When you look back through his history, and he was a paramedic, a firefighter, a police officer.
Any of the charities that he doesn't expect anything back. So that's Rick Bryant.
I like supporting people who support our community, and Rick definitely does that.
Mr. Hatfield's a cool guy. He's a giver. He started a local charity here. He's very humble and modest.
So, you know, Dad retired down here to the lake. He did things like he brought Habitat for Humanity here. He was instrumental in opening Hope House and made sure that it will function much longer than he ever does.
I'm going to ask you a straight up question, okay? We both want to live forever, but if something were to happen to one of us, what would you want us to do with the proceeds? You want us to market the guns and sell them, so we'll do that. Afterwards, what would you like me to do with the money?
Give me the check.
Yes, sir. If I can't give you a check, what would you like me to do?
Oh, you morbid soul.
What we do is extremely important because we're taking all that he has collected for his lifetime and putting it on the block and changing hands. There's nothing I don't think that's any more important than that, than just respecting the man.
I want to follow your wishes. It's important to me.
My 2 daughters, the check would go to them.
Okay. So I'll see that they get the money. Anyone in particular that you like better than the other, or you just want me to throw it up and let them grab it?
Oh, no, I love them equally. Boy.
To be honest, it would be fair to say that we would go, that's nice, you know, because guns were not our affinity. He gets to do this. You know, it's not something that we do after the fact. He gets to be a part of his decision and how he wants things done.
We're going to market them, and we'll do the very best we can.
I know you will.
I appreciate that.
Come on in here. I know we've got an auction coming up, and wanted you to see where I'm packing all this stuff to. As you can see, the bazooka has a prominent place. Students couldn't believe I had a bazooka. All the helmets up top here, the World War I helmets, little knobs you see on these here, the little, that's for a feather. Now, riding into battle with a big feather on your head, I never thought that was a very smart move.
Yeah, shoot me.
You know.
And of course, German.
Right, and then the next one, that was my dad's hat, yeah.
Yeah, World War II, I tell you, it's just absolutely amazing.
It is. One of my classes, I was talking to the students and doing a lecture, and we finally got to Vietnam, and a little gal in the back of the room raised her hand, and I said, yes, and she said, you finally got something I know about. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, my grandpa fought in that war. I was like, oh my goodness, you know.
Yeah,
this
I
is
missed
what's
it by
happened.
2 years,
Yeah.
so I guess
there you go.
Yeah, I could spend days in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of toys in here, you know. When we won the revolution, everybody looked at each other and says, we won. And they said, what do we do now? And, well, I don't know, I'm a pig farmer. What do you want to do?
What we're going to do at Bryant Auction is we're going to help thousands of people own guns that deserve the guns, know how to use them, and know how to store them.
The guns are here. Everything is just coming together. Saturday is our ball game, and the serious guys are here to play varsity level ball.
Those are his babies, each and every one, and he can tell you a story about every one of those guns.
The best way to protect our rights is to exercise our rights.
Bryant Auction offers a fast and efficient way to market your real estate, cars, guns, and personal property. Averaging an auction every 3 days, we can market live, online, and simultaneously with a live and an online crowd to get you the best possible price. Our real estate auctions have brought in buyers from all over the world and gun buyers from all over the nation. 50 years in business and thousands of satisfied clients because we care. Visit BryantAuction.com and consider it sold.
Madison and the boys, when they drafted up the Constitution, their whole thing was, okay, we're going to put together this federal government, something nobody had ever seen before. Bear in mind, when we won the revolution, everybody looked at each other and says, we won.
Now what?
And they said, what do we do now? And, well, I don't know, I'm a pig farmer, what do you want to do? And it was kind of like good grief. And so they had to sit down and build a government from the ground up. There was nothing. They looked at it in the end, like one colony would say, you know, we're a very religious people here. And I don't see anything in here about protecting our religious rights. And so, you know, here they are, they're saying, so will you sign it? No, I'm not going to sign it until you put something in there. In another state, they said, well, you know, what about weapons? How do we defend ourselves from this strong central government? I don't see anything in here that says we have the right to keep our arms. And so what happened is that everywhere they went, this was a list of things that the people said, we want this included before we sign off on this. And so they basically forced the hand of the forefathers to say, I want these things, and there were 10 of them. They added on there to say, we're not going to sign it until you do this. And every one of them, if you step back and look at it, that we call them the Bill of Rights. Those things are all restrictions on the federal government.
Absolutely.
People look at it the wrong way. They're saying, well, those are things that were given to us as rights. No, those are things that we did to the federal government to restrict it.
The origin is very, very humble, very, very easy to grasp. And then what's odd is how we contort that. And then it turns into this convoluted 7-page thing that you read it and go, what now?
When I hear these people arguing about the Second Amendment, I just kind of scratch my head.
I've carried weapons on duty. I've had weapons. We grew up on a farm. We hunted.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized there was another philosophy or way of thinking. And we always felt, you know, we would protect ourselves. At 5'8", I have to have a weapon. That's just part of the deal, gravity challenge. And I think we've done that since we were cavemen. We got a bigger stick and got a bigger rock, and you know, then we figured out how to make things explode.
The people as a whole, once they'd made the commitment, they all pulled together. And then once they formed their government, there was always somebody there while they're drafting the Constitution that would stand and say, you know what? We need to all pull together. We need to all realize that this is something bigger than just us as individuals. We as a country have a tendency to all rally together. Now, unfortunately, sometimes it takes a crisis to get us to do it, but we have that ability, and I don't think we'll ever lose that.
Oh, flush the dope, flush the dope. Look at him, they're so serious as hell. Sheriff, Dwight, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you guys? The sheriff, I put him in a headlock. We're at a charity sale. I went over and put him in a headlock, and I said, I don't care if you're carrying a gun or not, you're out. A couple days later, I get a phone call. Hey, Rick, come and look at our guns. Turns out there was 150 of them. Got some goodies for me.
You bet. Take a look at that.
Yeah. Let me, barrel sweep here.
That's really a nice weapon.
You take this weapon that was laying in a box in a storage unit, a secure storage unit, for how long? How long? This weapon's viable and it's functional. Why wouldn't we take this weapon and sell it to someone that's legal to own it, take that monies and use it to fight crime? It's the ultimate in recycling.
Why would you cut that up and destroy it? We just could not understand it. So we went through and found the ones that we could get rid of, contacted you, and you did an excellent job of getting rid of those things. And
well, yeah, Sheriff, we've done this before. I was doing the math. We've put a lot of money back in the coffers, all of us, just by doing the right thing.
We use some of that for the drug courses for the kids, and also out the range. So we put the money to good use.
But he made the decision to step over the line and say, you know what, these guns they're viable, they can be sold legally, which we do. We always run the NICS check and do a federal background check, and they can be put back in the market to individuals who hunt and use their guns and exercise that Second Amendment. You've risked your lives, went out and taken this from the bad guy. Obviously, he wasn't doing something right. The gun wouldn't be in a box with a red tag on it.
That's right.
Now we're taking that gun that's viable. I mean, this gun's probably $300, $400, $500 gun. Hopefully $5.
He's a cop. He's a fellow law enforcement officer, and he kind of knows the ins and outs of what we're looking to do.
I understood law enforcement and the chain of custody and the fact that these guns could be, it could be a bad idea if it's not handled right. It's my honor. My honor. I mean that.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, appreciate it very much. Sure, we're making money, but we're doing it fair, and we're making sure that it's done right, and we're turning that cash around and putting it back in the coffers to help out the taxpayers, because we're paying enough, brother. What do you got, guys?
I got a few firearms here.
Somebody can sign them. Yeah. That one should be okay, but let's clear them first. And then, I don't know, guys, I say take them outside and try them out. Interesting little critter, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, bullpup design.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe we should make sure they function.
I would say make sure they function.
I think it would be important that we make sure that they function.
You just want to play.
I'll tell you what, you pick the weapon, $20. I don't shoot a bow. You did that on purpose.
Exactly, I ain't dumb.
I'll take you on a bow. Take you on a bow for $10. $20.
That's fine with me.
But we need to shoot them all just in fair disclosure, wouldn't you say? A lot.
Test them out?
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, you want to put that special target up for Bobby?
Get her up there, Tiger. We want to make
right.
him feel at home, you know?
Yeah, I think he'll like this one.
It's a gobbler, Bob.
Say buy to 40 bucks.
Okay.
I'm too close. I'll go right through that.
Will you put that on your lip? What are you, stupid?
Way too close. It's through it. It's gone.
How can you put that on your lip and not lose your mouth?
It's a kisser button.
Huh?
It's a kisser button. It's where you draw back and anchor it.
Why would you anchor 70 pounds of pull on your lip? Okay, and where do you put this?
Right here.
On that?
Open it up, close it, put your finger behind it, keep your finger to it, and then you just draw back.
And what do you use for a sight?
Use your top sight. This is set 20 yards.
That's screwed up.
What's screwed up?
That rubber thing up there.
This?
Yeah.
That's your peep sight.
What's screwed up?
No, it ain't. That's the way it is. When you draw back, it'll anchor down. It'll come straight down through your sights.
This is ridiculously complicated.
Draw back, put it in your kiss, put that in your kit, right in your, put it in your lip, or you're gonna be off.
I ain't putting my mouth where your mouth was. No, I'm not putting my mouth there.
I was closer. I was closer by 4
Bobby,
inches.
stop cussing and tell me why you know that already.
I watched the arrow.
Actually, I think you guys were the same.
Too, I was over here. He's over here.
He was up at the top of the left corner.
Right there.
Why you got 2 arrows going there? Or 2 holes going there? That made that big hole?
Yeah, that's you right there. This is mine over here.
How do you know it wasn't this one right here?
I shot down here low.
I know, but how do you know mine wasn't there? 20 bucks.
We have fun on Thursday nights. We have fun in some of the off-site auctions. But when it gets down to brass tacks and gets down to business, we get down to business.
It is a multi-week process to put this together, and then the whole party just happens starting at noon on Friday. Everything is just coming together.
In my business, you get to meet a lot of people. Rarely do you get to meet people of Bob Hatfield's caliber.
My father had a medical event that caused him to have a car accident. And thankfully, he did not get hurt or hurt anyone else, but it changed his life drastically.
In this country, we have a legacy of firearms. In this particular case, Mr. Hatfield understood that clearly.
A couple of guns that were really interesting in this. One was a European side-by-side.
We're really proud of John Buckingham. We love to refer to him as Army because his knowledge in guns, if he doesn't know it, he finds it. He goes and looks for it. He does the research.
One side was a 20 gauge and was rifled, and the other side was a 16 gauge. Not totally uncommon in European guns, very uncommon in the United States. The engraving was spectacular, but what was even greater was the foregrip and the stock were both carved very deeply. And a lot of times that can be very uncomfortable. And this, whoever did this sure knew what they were doing, because this was a great gun to feel. The action was perfect.
I got 700 online, and look at the hand carving on that, guys. Look at the hand carving. 700, now 8, 800, now 9, 900, 1,000, 900, 1,000, not now.
Rick wanted that gun, or was at least interested in that gun. And it took off, and Rick didn't even bother to bid on it because it was above his budget right away.
19, now 2002, 2002, I like you. 2002, 2021, 21 and 2021, 21 and 2021.
Yeah, sometimes I'm a 350-pound Vanna White. I mean, it's being able to present the product or the firearm to people. My crowd wasn't just in here, it was online.
25 and 6, 2,500 and 6, you could charge me the 100. When you're talking, an 80-plus-year-old man who is in the twilight of his life, and he knows that those are his babies, each and every one, and he can tell you a story about every one of those guns, and he watches every one of those guns sell. And then he has 2 daughters that are very compassionate, very concerned, very loving, watching us sell his babies, their next sibling down the line. It's important for him to be happy. 31.
3,500.
3,500 now.
When somebody jumps a bid by 500 bucks, you know they're serious. They're taking that gun home, and they don't care who they're fighting with. They've just marked their line in the sand. This one's mine.
37 and a half and 4. What do you think of them apples? 37 and a half and 4,000, now 4,000.
Right back.
He did. 37 and a half and 4,000, now 42 and a half, 2 and a half and 4,000, now 42, 50.
Yes, sir.
Once in a lifetime. 42 and a half, 2 and a half and 4,000, now 42, 50, 42 and a half and 5, 45, 45 and 45, 45, 7 and a half, 7 and a half. My man's here. 45, 7 and a half, 7 and a half and 45, 7, 50, 7 and a half, 45, 7, 50, 7 and a half. I got 45 in-house, 47, 50. 46, quick! We sell thousands of guns at Bryant Auction, and it's kind of a marriage of people, you know, those that are tired of them or don't need them anymore, and those that want them. And so we try to find those individuals that want those guns. Sometimes they're very unique, and so you have to find a unique buyer to go with it. $4,500, 1098, 1098, 4,500, 1098. Give them a round of applause, you bet.
One of the really interesting guns in Mr. Hatfield's collection was a gun that was owned by Francis Scott Key, was passed down to his grandson, and from the grandson it came to Mr. Hatfield.
This Francis Scott Key IV, which is the fourth descendant, obviously, Francis Scott Key of Star Spangled Banner fame, gave him the gun, and we have a notarized sheet over there to that effect.
Mr. Hatfield waved me over, and I came over, and he goes, "I don't let just anybody clean my guns." And I said, "Oh," and he goes, "You were cleaning them right. Thank you." That was probably the biggest compliment I got through the whole thing.
When are you going to get this opportunity? 8,700, no wait, 878, 8,700, no wait, 8,700, no wait, 88, 700, no wait, 88. I want to, but I'm not going to. Sold it, $700, number 1089. What are you going to do with that, sir?
That's either.
Stand up.
That's likely going to go in the NRA Museum or George Washington.
Okay, it'll go to one of two places, he said, more than likely, so you'll know. It's either going to go in George Washington's home in Mount Vernon, or it'll go in the NRA Museum. The gentleman that owned it is right behind you if you want to shake hands. You should probably get to know him anyway. Mr. Hatfield, Mr. Plaster.
The gentleman who shook my father's hand, I saw my father 20 years ago.
It's always fun to see a cherished heirloom passed to somebody that you feel will be a good custodian of it. You know, it's not my gun. I'm just taking care of it until the next guy gets it. You know.
It was a very satisfying feeling when I saw that, because it was like, I will take care of your babies.
Mr. Hatfield will be missed.
We have a tendency sometimes to say, well, you know, if I had $100,000, I could do this. Well, guess what? You have the freedom to go out there and make $100,000. Yes, and I think sometimes we restrict ourselves. I can't do that. Why not? Well, I can't travel here. I can't jump out of an airplane. Why? The only one restricting your freedom is you. You're doing it to yourself.
What we're going to do at Bryant Auction is we're going to help thousands of people own guns that deserve the guns, know how to use them, and know how to store them.
The guns are here. Everything is just coming together. Saturday is our ball game, and the serious guys are here to play varsity level ball.
Those are his babies, each and every one, and he can tell you a story about every one of those guns.
The best way to protect our rights is to exercise our rights.
You know, what I like is Rick's former law enforcement, so he knows what law enforcement goes through, so he puts a lot out for us.
When you look back through his history, and he was a paramedic, a firefighter, a police officer.
Any of the charities that he doesn't expect anything back. So that's Rick Bryant.
I like supporting people who support our community, and Rick definitely does that.